Good morning and welcome. If I've never met you, my name's Jackie Monteith. I'm a retired educator, but I'm also the founder of wiseboomer.com. And if you have never seen WiseBoomer or you've never heard of it, WiseBoomer is in the place of Baby Boomer. WiseBoomer is just a website created for people like you, people who are one of the 108 million Americans 50 and over who are at home struggling through this pandemic. Never in a million years did I dream that I would be standing on a stage talking to you without having you here. It's been really tough on all of us, and like I said, there's 108 million Americans feeling this. Never did I think that all of a sudden Wi-Fi and technology at your house would become as important as food and anything else in your house, because all of a sudden Wi-Fi is very important. So today, I'd like to take you through a little bit of how you can handle technology. Now, with 108 million Americans at home feeling what we are, you may have felt something like this: techno discomfort, frustration, anger at all your technology. And for years it was okay, we could get through, but not any longer. Now technology is very, very important. Did you look like this on one day? I know I did. You were not alone. So many people are struggling. But we can handle this. And Stanford research has shown that one of the best things, the three things that we can do to improve our life and our quality of life is exercise, socialize, and stimulate our brain, mentally challenge ourselves. So you're here at the fair, and what better way to stimulate yourself than this? So why not now, for the next 40 minutes, what better way to challenge yourself than come up with a plan, a personal technology plan? I want you to stop ignoring technology, hoping it will go away, or fearing technology that you're going to break something or hurt something. We're going to stimulate our brains and take it a little further today. So let's look at what's going on and what we're going to do. We have been on lockdown for 223 days. 223 days. And there are parents, our kids, our grandparents at home struggling with their technology. All of a sudden, technology is extremely important. Well, I'm here today to tell you that you are capable of taking hold of your technology. So today is the day. We're going to carpe diem, seize the day. Today is the day you are going to take care of, or you're going to control all the technology in your life. Now, this is your personal technology bucket list day. We are going to create your personal technology bucket list. Now, if you're worried that you need a lot of paper to take notes, you don't. When you go to the internet and go to wiseboomer.com, you will find a tab that says presentation. There you will click and you will see all of the slides from today so that you don't need to take notes. You can sit back, relax, and just learn. So, if you are hesitant about privacy, you're not alone. Privacy is definitely a concern, and you need to be hesitant about it. But I want you to know that as much as you try, you can't keep your information from being there on the internet. In fact, you're just one of 7.8 billion people who have all of their personal information out on the internet. If you look at these blue tabs, you'll see that there's a lot of different information that anyone can find if they know how. And this includes personal things like bankruptcies, arrest times, your addresses, your phone numbers. All of these things are out on the internet somewhere. There are no secrets today. So once you accept that, what you start to do is think, well, how can I be smarter about that? How can I be smart about my privacy? Because I can't keep it from being out there. It's out there. But you can control what's out there. Now, when I started teaching, they said, okay, the 21st century is going to be the information age. There is going to be so much information out there that we will be bombarded. Well, little did we know, they've changed the name to something fancy called the digital age, and that's okay. Kids today are digital natives. Their brains work differently than ours do. They were born with an iPad in their crib. Their brain processes visual images. That's a little different than ours. Ours, when we went to school, we were given books, and we were told, you will learn what's in these books. Then you will be educated, and you will go out into the world. And every time you want to learn something, you get a book. Well, that's not working today. The libraries are closed, and when you buy something off the shelf at a store, it often doesn't even come with a manual. And that includes computers and cell phones. They don't come with manuals. So what are you supposed to do? Well, you could give up, but I'm not going to let you do that. So for us, we need to find a way to change. I'm going to help you today come up with a plan. We're going to go through steps that you can fix your personal technology so that you don't have to depend on your grandkid coming over to every time you have a problem with your cell phone or your computer's not loading. I'm going to show you that you are quite capable of doing that yourself. Our generations, the baby boomers, the greatest generation, everyone that is in the senior category today, we've all been through so much in our lives. And we've conquered it, and we've done it. And look where we are today. We're in a whole new world of the information age, the digital age. So, starting today, let's start your bucket list. And the first thing on your bucket list is probably one of the hardest. We have to change our mindset. I need you to believe that you are capable of finding all the information that you need, that you ever need. It is out there on the internet. It is no longer in a book. It is on the internet. So your Wi-Fi does become very important at your house. Your internet becomes important. But the secret to succeeding in this technological world for our generations is to know that you can get the answer to anything that you want to know if you learn how to do that. And I'm going to show you, for number one on your bucket list, how you can do. You are not going to ever know everything. Throw that away. Change your mindset. This is about you looking to find the information that you need and knowing how to get it. It's there. You know, you hear often, Siri knows everything. Google knows everything. Well, maybe they're right. So first of all, let's say that you have a very specific problem. For instance, you just got a phone, it's working great, you know, or you have an old phone and you're very happy with it making phone calls. But someone said that maybe you want to learn a little more. So let's say that your eyesight is starting to fail you and you need the writing on your phone just a little bit bigger, a little bit larger. So you go to Google. And there's several ways to go to Google. You know, there's several ways to go to Google. You can look at different things. But what you type into Google makes the difference of what information you get. So the secret here is discovering certain words, figuring out a pattern of what words you type into Google to get the information that you need. Now, if you look here, I wanted to know how to change the text size on my iPhone 11. I typed that in because very specifically I wanted to know that. Now, if I would have just typed the word iPhone, I would have come up with way too many answers. I already came up with 520 some odd a million responses. There are places on the internet that have the words that I typed in. Well, that's okay. They brought up the most relevant one with what Google thinks is relevant to the top. So I can look at that and try those instructions. Most of the time it will work for you. If it doesn't, right below it are videos. You can look at any of those videos to see what to do to fix your problem. Now you can use this method if you get really good at writing specific words onto your screen, onto your Google, you will always get what you need. Very specific problems. Maybe a horn is going off in your car and you don't know why, or a light's on. As long as you know the model of the car and all that, you can find the answers that you need in Google. Don't be afraid to try. You haven't got anything to lose. Now, but let's say you have a more general problem. Let's say that you would like to know, you've got a new phone and you don't know how to work it, and you do not want to have your grandkid over and do everything for you. You want to learn yourself, but you haven't allowed yourself to do that. Well, that's where YouTube comes in. And YouTube today is so important. And it's a little scary to realize that you might rely on YouTube, but it's okay. If you have grandkids, or even your kids, they're playing, grandkids in general play with Minecraft, Fortnite, video games. And we used to think that whenever they were sitting there at the dinner table with their face in their phone, that was a bad thing. But is it really? Because if you look most of the time at what they're doing, they're watching YouTube videos. And the YouTube videos are not entertainment. They're teaching them something. If you have a 5-year-old grandson that's just starting Minecraft and he has a phone in his hand, he can watch videos on how to play Minecraft. He will go off and play and build a world. Then he'll come back and see how somebody else built their world, and he'll learn and he'll go back. This is all learning. Well, you can do the same thing. Do you want to know how to work that sewing machine that's been sitting in your closet for years? You can go to YouTube. You can type in the model of the sewing machine and a video will come up showing you maybe 10 minutes or so of exactly how you can do specific things. And there'll be multiple videos. So if you get a new iPhone or a new phone, a smartphone, you get a new smartphone and you want to know all the things that you could be doing besides making phone calls, you can go to YouTube. And you can type in the smartphone that you have, like for instance, I said a tutorial. I'd like a tutorial on an iPhone 11. Video will come up, multiple videos will come up, and you get to watch them. Find the ones that are relevant, that work for you. The result is amazing. You will be amazed at what you can learn. You can fix your lawnmower, you can fix your plumbing. All these things are there for you in YouTube. We're talking about billions of videos to solve every little problem you can imagine. So, once we've changed your mindset and you realize that you can get the information you need, if you really believe it, and you should, you can get that information to take care of your own technology. Let's go to number 2 on your bucket list. You need to understand and believe that the smartphone is the most important device of the future. The smartphone is going to do everything for us as we move forward. Now, I know it's hard to believe because a lot of you are using old phones that just make phone calls just fine. But the world is working toward us having a digital image. In the future, and you've seen it at home during this pandemic, kids will be using smartphones, iPads, different devices for their learning. It is, and I told you that iPads that's what a digital native is. They had iPads in their crib, and they've had them since they were babies, but now it will become more and more important. Every student that's at home learning has a laptop right now. That's the idea, or an iPad, and that's how they're getting their learning. Well, a smartphone can do everything that a computer can do, for the most part, for the general user. Everything a computer can do. So if you had to choose between a computer or a smartphone, you would choose a smartphone. Because it will work for you in the future. Screens are getting larger, which is great for those of us who don't have the greatest eyesight. All of these devices that are sitting around, you may have cleaned out your closets over, when you're at home and you organize things, and you probably put a whole lot of these things away. But you don't need a camcorder anymore. You don't need a camera. You don't even need a scanner. You don't need an address book or a calendar. These are just some of the many, many devices that are no longer necessary because a smartphone can do it all for you. And smartphones back up your information so you don't lose that address book. So look at all these different things and think about, when's the last time you used one if you have a smartphone? And do you need it in the future? Maybe it's time to give it away. Well, if a smartphone can really do everything that a computer can do, That's okay, that's great, that's going to help you. But the rest of the world is going to need you to have a smartphone to do what you need to do in the coming years. And I'll show you why that already is happening. For instance, has your doctor notified you that you can't come to his office? He wants to do a video call with you. Well, that can be on a computer, but he really expects that you're going to have a smartphone so that you can move it to the area that he's looking at. Okay, that's one thing. What are these other things that you can do? Your bank doesn't want you to come in. Your bank does not want you to come to the bank. They want you to deposit your checks with your phone. You use a phone, you download the app, you deposit the check. There are so many other things that you can do. One of the main things that was very exciting, if you look at the last thing on this list, is that you can now track your ballot. You received the ballot in the mail, and you can now track it and see where it is using your smartphone. You will get a text every time that your ballot moves and gets scanned from one place in the Postal Service to another. That's kind of very cool, very exciting, because that's just one of many, many things that it can do. You can use it as a scanner if you have to send a copy of a receipt to somebody about something. These are all different ways. You can find out where your UPS driver is, so you don't have to hang around the house all the time. You can see exactly where he is. You'll always know where he is, and you can wait for the package that way. So there's just so many different things. You can read a book. You can check the weather. It's just going to be amazing, all the things that that smartphone in your hand will do. So what about when we start to get older and our eyesight is getting a little weaker? Well, a smartphone can read everything to you. You can enlarge the text, but if you want, it can read everything to you. Everything that comes on the screen, all your texts, all your emails, a website, a book, it will read to you. And if you have hearing aids, once our hearing goes, we have hearing aids. Hearing aids hear everything from your smartphone, from phone calls to reading text to you, everything. You hear them as if you have headphones on. It goes right through your hearing aids. And more than anything, coming up are smartwatches. Smartwatches work with your phone. And a smartwatch is important to us because of all the things that it will be doing, it can do now. The things that you see here on the screen are things that it can already do. It can watch our health. It can see our pulse. It can check our oxygen level. If you're a diabetic, it can keep track of your sugar levels. Amazing things, and they're coming. The next level will be a smartwatch that can constantly show your blood pressure. So, we go back to number 1 and 2. Number 1, you need to change your mindset. You need to have a mindset that says, I can do it. I can find the information, and I know how to find the information. I'm using either Google or YouTube, but I can get the information I need. I can fix my own devices. And then number 2 was that you believe that you've got to update your smartphone. Your smartphone is going to be your remote control to your world. It is not going to control you. You're going to use it to control your world. So that's a different kind of mindset too. Well, what about the third one on our list? Now this is the one that's really going to hurt. This is the one because if you have technology that you've been frustrated with at home, there is a very good possibility that that technology is more than 5 years old. Technology more than 5 years old was created at a different level than technology. Over the past 5 years, technology has improved so much. It can do so much. It can do it so quickly, and has incredible apps and things that will not work on computers and phones that are more than 5 years old. So what you want to do is have your equipment work for you. And the way you do that is to update your computer. So we're talking smartphone and computer, or an iPad if you use an iPad instead of a computer. But updating those, don't try to make an old piece of equipment work because it will drive you crazy. It just isn't worth it. Nowadays, if you buy a new computer or a new phone, you would be amazed. It will last you far beyond 5 years. because things have changed so much. And you will love every minute of it because you will not get frustrated like you did before. Old technology, we were making it work. Now, new technology will work for us. In 1988, to show you the cost of computers, because you may be thinking that a computer is awfully expensive. In 1988, I bought my first computer when I was teaching. I began teaching, and I bought one. I was a technology person, so I bought one for $3,600 I paid for this Apple IIe. All it really could do was type and maybe play Pac-Man, and it wasn't even in color. And you know that $3,600 in 1988 was unbelievable. That was a lot of money. Well, now, you can buy any of these machines for $1,000. You don't need to pack it with memory and all this other stuff. You just need a computer that will work for you. So $1,000, these are Mac computers, and I'll explain why later. But right now, these are Mac computers that you can find anywhere. And they're great, they will work for you, especially if you end up with an iPhone. But let's talk about that. If you're buying new devices of any type, you're going to get what you pay for in most situations. Don't try to buy old technology. Don't buy an old iPhone. We're on model 11 of iPhones right now. And the reason I'm using iPhones is because iPhones, I always encourage everyone to buy what is popular. Because if you buy something that is popular, you know that other people have found it to work for them. And you will hear me always talking about Apple devices. Because when I started Wise Boomer, and everyone was asking questions, what should I buy, what should I do? I started to realize that if you have a choice, all the problems are coming from the PC world and the Galaxy world, the Samsung world, because those machines were not built with user friendliness in mind. They were built for customization. So I decided to always promote Apple products. I don't get anything from Apple. I'm just trying to help you. If you go with the most popular iPhones out there, you will find there's always somebody that knows something about it. And you have really good, you can always go to the Apple store. So that's why you'll hear me mention iPhones and Macs. I understand if you want to go another direction, it's not a problem. I'm just saying if you want to give yourself a good start and less problems, go with that. So buy a newer smartphone. Whatever you choose, get a newer one. And do not get a cheap $200, $300 model. That just won't work for you. You need to get a nice smartphone because you will be so happy after you learn to do all the things that you want to do with it. Now, right now, the iPhone 11 would be what you should buy. Don't buy anything else. The iPhone 12 is coming out. 11s are a good price right now. So if you do update to an iPhone, get an iPhone 11, do not go and get one of these deals for an iPhone 7 for $200 because it can't do what the new ones can do. And you want a good start and you want it to last for 5, 7 years. Then if you've got a smartphone and it's working for you and you have what you need, then go ahead and update your computer. Now, updating the computer is huge because you may have a computer that's full of stuff that you want, you're worried about keeping it. You can figure out how to do that. But a newer computer will work so much faster and better for you. It won't drop your Wi-Fi. Your files will be starting all new and all the applications and everything will be new. So don't be afraid to update your computer. And I realize it's a big expense, but it will last you for a very long time and really make your life easier. Now, where do you buy a computer nowadays? I mean, there aren't any computer stores. Where do you even know where to go? Well, you could spend your time researching all different types of computers and things. But what I tell everybody is just make it easy on yourself. You know if you buy from Costco that you get a good price and you get good quality and they had great return policy. So Costco sells all of their things online. And Costco has a phone place that you can go in and buy a new phone if you want to do that. Or you can order it online and bring it to your house. Believe it or not, once you have this bucket list, you can set up the devices using the information that I gave you. So you can order from Costco, have it delivered to your house, and set it up yourself. Yes, you can. It is not complicated like it used to be. So these are just some of the deals that are on Costco. But what about other places? Let me take it back for a minute. Where else should you buy? Well, if you are a veteran, you can buy online from the exchange. You just create an account, they verify that you're a veteran, and everything you buy from them is tax-free. That's nice, and they will ship to your house too. The problem is it's a little more difficult to return, so make sure you're getting what you need. And you won't get a phone from the exchange because their phones are run by a different little business. But when you buy something from Costco, by the way, if you buy a phone from Costco, they have AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, all of those. They will help you set it up if you want to, or you can have it shipped to your house. You go through a process of saying what service you have. When you get it, you activate it at your house. It is not difficult. And you can get instructions from number 1 on our bucket list on how to do that. Okay, so we've got number 1, we changed our mindset. Number 2, we've got a great smartphone. Number 3, we're updating all of our equipment, all of our devices to make our life simple. Now, if you did choose an iPhone, and I'm just recommending that, if you did choose an iPhone, the apps on the iPhone look exactly like they do on the iPad, and they also carry over to the Mac. So now all of a sudden your life did become simpler because your brain doesn't have to shift from how to operate one thing to another. Much easier, much easier. So number 4 on our bucket list, we have got to do something with that pile of email that is sitting there and has been sitting there for years, and we just kind of ignore it. And also all those photos that are all over the place. They're on our phone, they're on our iPad, they're on our computer, they're on a hard drive, they're on the photo albums. Have you noticed that kids today really don't want our photo albums? We thought they were the greatest thing ever. But now all of our photos are digital. So they may be on the phone, they may be on that old computer you have. What do we do to fix all this? Well, we start with our email. Starting with your email, you don't have to get frustrated with all that email. There is a way to control it. First of all, figure out if you can just delete the last 2 years, 3 years of email. You don't need them. If you haven't looked at them, there's no need for them. You need to learn how to save emails that matter. Maybe they're receipts that come by email. Maybe they're reservations, trip itineraries, things like that, should we ever travel again. But those kind of things can be saved and kept, and everything else deleted. Then, as you get emails in, you start to discover that at the bottom of every email, it's required that it have the word unsubscribe. Well, you go through and you start unsubscribing. So if every day you get an email from Macy's, and you don't want to get an email from Macy's every day, you scroll to the bottom and you click on unsubscribe. When you do that, you will not get emails from Macy's. It may take a couple days, but you will stop getting emails. Pretty soon, if you do that for all of your emails that you don't want to see every day, your email list gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's manageable. And you need to learn how to get rid of all those ones that are in the spam folder. So you can do the same thing. Now, you need to remember that some of this stuff has to be stored. So let's talk about photos. You've got photos in certain places on your computer. There are classes, and there's one coming up right after me, that teaches you how to take those photos, put them together, get them into albums, or store them on a hard drive, or store them in a cloud. There's a class coming up next about the cloud. The cloud is a safe place for you to save things, and you will learn that. But putting your photos in the cloud will keep your photos. They will not disappear. And you could share them with whoever you want in your family. So this is a great thing, but also in the cloud, you will discover that it's a great place to save other things that you can't lose. You can scan documents, things like that. So storage becomes an issue. How do you get them from the old computer to the cloud or to a hard drive? And you can buy a little portable hard drive from someplace, Costco, And once you get them under control, all of a sudden you're feeling a lot better. Things are simplified. Okay, so we've got our number 4 is get your email and your photos under control. Well, along that line, you need to learn about scams. Email scams called phishing are out there. Those emails that ask you for information, never put anything in them. And learn to identify them, delete them immediately. Then also, there are other scams out there, phone calls, computer scams, things like that. You can learn about those. There are local sites that you can search for. The San Diego District Attorney's Office, the San Diego City Office, they all provide different kind of information on scams that are going in San Diego right now. So just get used to using your internet and search for them and you will find them. So now we've got our new devices and our email and our photos are they're under control. We've got them corralled. And we're going to make our life a lot simpler because we know everything's organized, everything's got a place, and I can fix it all. Well, what about number 5? Number 5 is the most important part of your bucket list. Number 5 is to be safe. You have to learn, since all your information's out there anyway, you have to learn how to make sure other people don't get it. So the first thing you do is lock all of your devices. You put a password or a code, a number code, or a fingerprint, or facial recognition. New phones have facial recognition, which is even more secure. But you do that on every device so that if you go shopping and somebody gets into your house and takes your computer, they cannot get into your computer because you have a password on it. Same thing for your phone. It is almost impossible to get into a phone that has a fingerprint, facial recognition, or a code. Do not leave anything unlocked. You lock it all up, nobody's going to get it. It doesn't matter what's in that computer, they're not going to get it. So you also need to have safe Wi-Fi at home. Your Wi-Fi should have a password, and you can tell if that happens because if you get a new device and try to log into that Wi-Fi, it will ask you for a password. It's called WPA2. You need that on your router. A router is what provides the Wi-Fi in your house. You may have to update your Wi-Fi. And you can research it on the internet how to do that. It's very clear and it's not difficult. Okay, you also need one of the sorest subjects, passwords. That little password book that's sitting beside your computer that has all your passwords for anybody to come into your house and figure out how to get into all your accounts, we need to get rid of that password book. Burn it. Whatever. You need to throw that password book away. So at 11 o'clock, I'll be teaching a class on passwords that'll show you a system or different options for controlling your passwords. You should always know your password for every place that you go, every website that you shop on, every bank, every credit card. You can do this. It is not difficult. It is a simple system that is safe and protects your passwords. So that'll be at 11 o'clock. But beyond that, you need to have a routine. So every day, keeping yourself safe on the internet, your social media presence is protected. You know how to do that. The way you do that is every day, at some time during your day, in the mornings preferably, you go into every one of your bank accounts and credit cards accounts and you look and make sure that nobody has done anything suspicious. There are no purchases that you didn't make. If you do this and you watch for them, you catch them immediately and you never have to worry. So do that, a routine every day. Check your accounts. And also check your email. You want to look for email alerts, things the bank may have sent you. Now you've got to know the difference between scams and phishing and what your bank really told you. Usually the bank will just tell you that you've had something declined or something from your account. But never do any financial transactions or anything on your computer or your phone in public Wi-Fi. Starbucks, even places like hospitals and things have it, the airport. Just don't use the public Wi-Fi. It's just, at this day and age, with so many hackers out there, and particularly because we're home and online so much, just don't do it. You do not want anybody hacking into your machines. Okay, so number 6, so that's 5, we're safe. But number 6 is to enjoy your day. Learn what you can today. I've given you a lot of information, and remember, it's available on the wiseboomer.com website, this one. So you can also email me at awiseboomer@gmail.com. But this is a really difficult time for everyone. And you have a lot of pressure on you. You are not alone. We're all experiencing it. But it's going to get better. So take this time over the next few weeks. Take this time to get your technology in order. And you'll end up really enjoying your life, and your quality of life will improve if you do the things I suggested on this bucket list in your personal technology plan. Now, if you have questions about anything that is outside of how to do something, you might want to learn about this side. And I always give a tip at the end of all my presentations. Quora.com, which you see on this screen, is a great place to go when you just want information about, in general, like, what does the general population think about this? Or why is this happen? Or anything, even like, how do I get rid of those no-see-um bugs that are biting me? Anything like that. You go to that website, and they have experts answering questions. And just like any information, you need to sift through it and see what you think is the real true, but they tend to have experts answering only. So you will get some information, things that maybe you hadn't thought about, but you've always just kind of wondered. So that's the best thing that I can offer today. Hopefully you will enjoy your new personal technology bucket list, because new technology really is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So have a great day. Enjoy every moment of your time online. Thank you.